There's been a lot of talk on the manosphere about the new Mad Max movie, Fury Road, and oh goodness has it been entertaining. It started with an article on the Return of King's website, which surprisingly does not feature any Deodan. Okay, I deserve that. Writer Aaron Clary wrote a very descriptive article about how the new movie is cleverly hidden feminist propaganda, claims that if it is a hit, it will mean there will never be another real action movie again, and called for a boycott. Honestly, the impotent crying to the heavens is so satisfying I just had to talk about it. I know my response is a bit late to the party, since these comments hit the news a few weeks ago, but I wanted to see the new movie first, so I could be sure that I know what I was talking about, something that Mr. Clary did not apparently do. The first thing that set Aaron off was the fact that a woman dared to give orders to Mr. Rokitinsky. As was so elegantly stated, nobody barks orders at Mad Max. Except that happens all the time. Everybody barks orders at Max. He is not a leader. He can be described as a cop, a soldier, perhaps one would even call him a warrior, but he's not a leader. As for the audacity of having a strong female, has he even watched the previous films? Enough said. Auntie. She was, as she put it herself, a nobody before the war, who built up Bartertown, which while it was nasty and brutish, the bottom line is, it worked. It had rules that even the leader had to follow, and a semblance of civilization. At least, better than the marauders on the road. And in the end, the story shows that she still has her followers, and implies she's going to start over again. The article referred to the film as feminist piece of propaganda posing as a guy's flick. Because of the idea that a movie with a strong female character is somehow so bizarre it is now propaganda. I don't know about you, but I don't need the star of an action story to be a man, as long as there is, good action in this action movie. There have been plenty of strong and tough female characters before. While it is rare enough that having a female lead stands out, tough women are not a brand new or foreign concept to action movies. A complaint is that most women are just not physically able to do most of the things that men do in these films. Guess what? Most men are not physically able to do most of the things men do in these films. They are movies, entertainment, escapist fantasy where effects, editing, and stunt professionals make us believe things that are physically impossible. And let's just assume that this whole women are lesser belief is true. A staple of a good story is that challenges are there to be overcome. Wouldn't it make it more impressive then that a so-called inferior woman is able to triumph over what are even more stacked odds against them? The author seems to think that Max is the kind of guy that we should emulate. When the hits the fan, it will be men like Mad Max who will be in charge. He doesn't seem to understand, in the post-apocalyptic films of Road Warrior and Beyond Thunderdome, while Max is shown to be just barely surviving, it is the others who are building and trying to make things better. The refinery workers in the second movie move on together to make a stronger tribe, while the previously feral child becomes civilized in their leader. The children at the end of Thunderdome find Sydney and start to rebuild. Even as mentioned earlier, Auntie has built up a city and appears to be on her way to do so again. Meanwhile, Max's situation keeps getting worse and worse. The implicit point being, just surviving is not enough. Civilization, cooperation between everybody is needed to give meaning to our lives, something that Max keeps missing out on. In fact, it is this misguided belief that being a tough warrior is what is important in this world that led to the great twist ending of the second movie. Spoiler alert for this almost 35-year-old movie. Because the tough guy was driving the biggest truck, the marauders and us, the audience, decided to follow him, ignoring the weaker refinery workers who were actually carrying the precious gas all this time, the whole reason the marauders were attacking the refinery in the first place. The expectation that the strongest and toughest would be the most important led to the surprise that mean the weaker were able to thrive. Mr. Clary has decried this as the destruction of a piece of American culture. Really? Do I even need to comment on that one? Look, if I go to see a good action movie, I will enjoy it for what it is. I don't care if the hero is a man, woman, or giant mutated lizard creature. As long as there is enough action to keep me entertained, I should enjoy myself. Why can't you?